Rank the albums.
Hiya, this is a series of stuff I'm trying with the famous waste of space, my CD collection. I nearly exclusively listen to things in CD form. It's a habit from growing up in the distant past, and just generally understanding music to work in that shape. I'm thereby specifically interested in albums, and I keep each artist's work filed chronologically, of course. To me, there's some subliminal grade of legitimacy to owning a copy of the album on CD that makes me actually take it seriously as a thing to listen to, and I can't necessarily do the same for download media, despite being a musician who publishes albums on the internet that you can download for free. Go and download. I don't know, I can't justify possessions much, but I've got them. It's pleasant to get the full story on physical media with booklets and way too much plastic. Most discographies have an adventure along the way in how good the material is. So another way we could file albums is by how much we enjoy them, or how much I enjoy them. I'm not going to keep a copy of something I don't actually like to listen to. Well, maybe. So some of these will be incomplete discographies. I mean, I guess everything is when you consider like single B-sides, etc. That's why we have the internet. That's where the complete discography is. The bits that are not in my collection are very likely to be the very bottom rungs, at least from my interpretation. Things I wouldn't want to listen to. We shouldn't be cursed to have to regularly experience bad things just because we like the good things from the same creator, should we, my YouTube subscribers? I'm recording these rankings without any script, the only preparation being that I've recently listened to each discography and assessed how much I enjoy it, and also like the many years of doing that. So I'll probably just approach things when I'm in a phase of listening to that act. Ranking things is a good gimmick, even if it perpetuates the idea that quality is a single dimension on which everything must be placed in a sequential order. I'm probably much better at articulating criticism than enjoyment, so it might come across mean like that in some cases, some CD cases. But remember that anything in my collection is worth a good listen and worth owning a copy of, unless I specifically say otherwise. Now I've reached late middle age, I'm not really so receptive to new music, so you'll see my tastes peter out in the mid-2000s. That's the decade, not the century or the millennium, the ooies. Most things newer than that will probably be the newer works of prior established artists. Oh, am I conservative or something? But if you subscribe to me, you can at least tolerate the music I'm into, and you've chosen to watch this. Hi. I'm aware of the limits of my collection, some of which are culturally unfair. Like, nearly everything here has a guitar in it, and it's gonna primarily be the works of white men speaking English, because that's the dominant culture. I mean to work on this over time, but it's going to take a few centuries for the culture of guitar music to get there, despite, the origins of rock and roll. Some very online musicians that I describe here will eventually find the videos, and that'll be kind of awkward. I'm going to refer back to this disclaimer introduction in the description of every video I publish, just as a self-defense for what can read as criticism. Please believe every episode of this is going to be from the perspective of a pretty big fan, unless I get around to, Muse or something. A fan who knows all the words and the melodies and chords, and will probably still fully enjoy even the lowest ranked material, because it's in the collection, and the collection is good. So, ranking every album released by a defined band. There may be some exceptions where I include solo albums within the band's career, or other oddities where it's technically or like nominally distinct, but there's a good reason to throw them together, like that XTC album where they weren't called XTC. I don't have many live albums here because I don't really enjoy to listen to those much. I don't generally consider them to be works of creativity. Those that I do have copies of may show up when they're relevant, but not very relevant. Compilation albums and other like reissue recycling projects are similarly irrelevant to actually ranking the albums, but they may come up when I get there, if I actually got a copy. There'll be some things that are technically like EPs, what does that mean on a CD? Or like mini albums or something that I may well throw in. I probably set the like criteria of inclusion around just above being a single. Oh yeah, I've got some CD singles, but not many because they're not that nice to listen to, but there's exclusive tracks. And like nearly none of them I bought when they actually could chart. Although I wonder if you like buy a second-hand CD single on eBay, does that just knock it up the chart a smidge from like 10,762 to 10,761? We may never know, it doesn't. If I get around to any artists who only recorded 1 or 2 albums, I'll come up with something in the format to make that reasonable. Maybe I'll just throw them together in a compilation. Otherwise, the duration of these videos will range from like 3 album careers to countless. You know, there's some very long, there's like nearly whole shelves of single things here. I'm not going to use any source music in the background. That's really annoying to do. I don't monetize my videos, but when copyrighted content is detected, that means that the original owners can monetize it, and it can make it pretty difficult. Like, occasionally that gets the video taken down. I know it'd be cool to hear the music as I describe it, but also just editing that's not the scope of this project. You can go and find that stuff. I did that on the video when I described my own music. That will be enough. So finding the actual sounds is down to you, but that's pretty easy these days. You can go and stream it, and maybe the artists will get like a grain of a penny for it. I don't use Spotify. That's how you pronounce it, right? It's got to be a play on notified. There is no other explanation for that word. Spotify just amasses music in a way that I'm much too old for. I can't assume a moral high ground about, like, how much money goes back to the original artist, because it's very little, and many of these are pre-owned. All capitalism sucks anyway. With the unscripted approach, I'm definitely going to think of more things in the edit, so I'll just put those on with overdubs. If I'm not familiar with the whole discography, well, I'll at least try and stream it so I've got the lowdown to offer to you, but if it's something I can't get into, maybe I shouldn't be covering that one. But there are some, like, ska bands who eventually become good bands, and I don't want to troll the ska fans by insulting that part of their discography. Ska fans have enough to deal with because they have to listen to ska. Anyway, that's what I'm doing and what you're bothering to watch, I guess. Let's look at some really good music.
Published on CD, sold on eBay for 99p. Rank the albums. Rank the albums. Whether they're bargain bin ones, Indian parts, or multi-platinum. Rank the albums. Rank the albums. I have to make a list from my favorites, going down to the bad ones. I need to demarcate them and demonstrate all my useless opinions. Rank the albums.